Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Ow, just kicked my bloody foot under the table. Oh, God. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Rodney. It's Tuesday night. How you doing, Rodney?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Rushed off my feet a bit tonight, but we're ready. There's loads and loads to talk about, which is good. We're going to talk about Manchester United's next number 7. We're going to talk about Alexis Sanchez. We're going to talk about Rashford and a development there, a big development around Rashford. We're also going to talk a little bit about James Rodriguez because we can put that to bed now. But let's start off with there's lots of rumours going around about Manchester United at the moment, and one that has sort of developed a little bit today is that I spoke about it last night. Colin Moore put it out, and he's not replied to me, so he's either lying or he's just not bothered to tell me. But the reality is that Manchester United, I've heard it from a few people today, that Manchester United have got a big plan around number 7. No, they're not going to wait for Griezmann. They've got something planned this summer for the number 7 shirt, and it's marquee and it's going to be massive. I mean, number 7 is vacant. I mean, Alexis Sanchez obviously plays number 7. Let's bring Alexis Sanchez in there. Alexis Sanchez plays for Chile as a number 7. Potentially wants to leave Arsenal. What are your thoughts about those two subjects?
Well, I mentioned last time about the number 7 shirt being given away too freely to previous players like Memphis Depay, and I think the weight of the shirt is really important for anyone that wears it. Alexis Sanchez, I personally would like him. I think he's a player that's he gives 100% in the games. I know there's rumours about him in training, but in games he's always given 100%. It would be a superb coup if Man United did sign him, because it would be a slap in the face to Arsenal and to Wenger, who's publicly stated that he's not going to sell to any Premier League team, and that Sanchez doesn't want to leave Arsenal, or hasn't indicated that he wants to leave Arsenal. And considering the way that the transfer rumours have been flying around this summer and the discussions that we've had, no one's been anywhere near the mark. We've looked so far afield in terms of players coming in. We've looked literally across Europe and not mentioned anyone in the league. We didn't see the Lukaku deal coming. It's happened. He's now he's now a Man United player. So I wouldn't be surprised if Man United stumped off enough money to say to Arsenal, take it or leave it with Sanchez, because if you don't take this, in a year's time, he'll leave and he'll come to us for nothing. I don't necessarily see him going to City because of Pep. And he was playing for Pep. Couldn't get into the team when Pedro was up front with Messi and I'm not even sure who else. So there's no guarantee that he will go to City. I think, if anything, we are very much in the driving seat for a player like Sanchez. And I don't even think he'd look at Chelsea. It's either us or he goes abroad. So for me, it makes sense if we were in for him.
A few people having problems with audio. We had this last night.
Audio is it my audio?
No, our audio is fine. Some people are getting it fine. Some people are not getting it. A few people are saying that they didn't realise they had mute on. So check you've got your mute. Check refresh. I think there is something somewhere going wrong, because this happened last night, but it's nothing to do with us. A lot of people can hear us as well, so it's some sort of YouTube glitch. But make sure you've not your screen's not muted, and refresh and everything like that. We'll fly on. I'll add to what Rodney said there. I know we've said Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United, Mark, as next number 7, question mark. I'll answer that, Mark, and I don't think we're going to sign Alexis Sanchez. I brought it out, literally, I think where this has come from is that a customer from Manchester has put a big bet on that Manchester United are going to sign Alexis Sanchez, and it sent the bookies into a little bit of a swirl, because he was 50-1 and he's come down to 12-1 now. Funnily enough, I said it last night, 2 weeks ago, you could get Mbappe to Manchester United at 25-1, and he was 5-1 to go to Arsenal. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Don't ever listen to the bookies. But Manchester United, I think we will fight. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to put a bet on it and say it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we do sign a number 7 and it's a marquee signing. Whether it'll be Alexis Sanchez, for me, it's a no, because I think Wenger's still going to be the manager, and he saw what Van Persie did. He didn't want that to happen, but it happened. I don't think they'll ever make that mistake again.
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do in a sense that, but we've had players. This is the thing. This week, I've heard people say, "Oh, we don't want to sell to rivals." Well, if you're a top five club in this country and you sell to a team like Bayern Munich, that's your Champions League rival.
Yeah.
A rival is a rival. Doesn't matter where they're playing. It doesn't matter what country the club is in. If you think that selling a player to that club will strengthen that club, and at some point down the road in it, whatever competition you come up against them, that is a rival that you would have strengthened. So
I suppose it's Arsenal mentality though, isn't it, Rodney? Because Manchester United, I remember when Keane was going to go to Juventus, and a lot of people forget that. And I was like, oh God, he's going to Juventus. We always play them in the European Cup, but Arsenal won't think of that because Arsenal just are an embarrassment. They're not even in it, are they, this year? But yeah, you're right. But Arsenal won't see it like that, unfortunately.
Well, they took Welbeck, didn't they? They took Welbeck from us.
Yeah.
So when I say strengthen a rival, they took Welbeck from us. We sold Tevez to City. You know, there are players that have left us and gone on to other teams. It's not as if we've not sold to other teams and they've benefited from it. I mean, some would say that even Rooney going to Everton strengthened Everton.
Yeah, but they'll soon be sectioned. I'm joking. I don't want to upset the Rooney fans, although I do really, because he's gone now. So you need to you need to get on with it. But yeah, I don't think Alexis Sanchez will come. I think there's more chance of him going to City, but that's my opinion. I think he should leave. He should leave though, because Arsenal are never going to do anything. But let's have a quick chat about James Rodriguez. I've been quite consistent about this, so I'm quite pleased in a way that I've been proved right, because I said I'd welcome him, wand of a left foot and all, very, very good player, but I never, ever felt that Manchester United were in for him. I thought it was a very easy deal for us to do, but I just never felt we were in for him. And actually, I've been saying it for months now, I'd rather stick by Pereira. And, you know, Rodriguez is a better player than Pereira, but he might not be in 3 years' time. So I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm ecstatic by it, but I'm not surprised. And at least we can park this now. And the reality is everybody was warned, because this did start with Guillem Balaguer back in March or April. And it just sort of rolled over from there again. And I think he was always just using us and never felt he was going to come.
Well, I mean, again, it goes back to Man United being linked to Real Madrid and the possibility of players coming over, and who does that benefit apart from the player's agent, and possibly Real Madrid. I never thought that we'd actually purchase him. And I think the fact that he's gone to Bayern Munich on a 2-year loan, which is strange, says that Bayern Munich don't have the cash that they have to purchase someone, and that he was never a first choice player for Real Madrid. It would say that Real Madrid have got their eye on someone else and they need to bring someone in, but to do so, they need to release wages. So I'm like you. I'm glad that the door has been closed, and he's now at Bayern. We're now have to see what kind of knock-on effect that has in terms of the purchases that we want for, like, the number 7, but also centre midfield, wingers, or how does it have a knock-on effect to every other purchase that we might possibly want to acquire?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, to be honest with you, James Rodriguez, I think he continues to... I mean, somebody just said in the live comments that I said he was definitely coming. I know for a fact. I might have said many things this summer. I never said James Rodriguez was definitely coming. I've always been quite consistent that I'd like him to come, but I never felt that Mourinho was really in for him. And I've been consistent on the numerous shows that he's been mentioned, because he's been linked to us for so bloody long. Andy MT's made a contribution saying Mkhitaryan is number 10. Well, we can talk about that in a minute, because it is one of the topics. But just sticking with Rodriguez for a minute. To be honest with you, Bayern Munich, it's a pub league. I don't care what anybody says, that's a pub league. It's a bit like PSG. You play a maximum of 8 tough games a season before you get knocked out of the Champions League, because he's going for an easy ride there, and I suppose La Liga's a bit like that as well. But what I am glad about Rodriguez is I don't think we were ever in for him, but I thought he might go to Chelsea, so I'm very glad he's not going to go there. He goes to Bayern Munich and he's not in our hair, so to speak. So that is a positive, because I was a bit concerned that Chelsea might get Morata and Rodriguez. Got another super chat here. Mr. USA 2025, thanks for the contribution. He says, and I'll let Rodney answer this, he said, would you rather have Pereira out wide or a more central role?
I think he operates best in the middle. He really does. I wouldn't put him out wide. He's an attacking centre mid, not a winger. A winger.
I was itching to get in on that question because I'm a massive fan of Andreas Pereira. Been watching the United stand for a few years now, and the last US tour I couldn't shut up about him, and I think he's a fantastic player. And I think some people just aren't aware of how good he can be. And I'm not going to put pressure on him and say he's going to be amazing this season. He might have to go on loan to someone like Bournemouth as long as he's playing. What he cannot do is go and do what he's done in the last season at Granada, play week in, week out, then come to United and do what happened to Fosu Mensah last year, where he's getting 20 minutes in the Premier League. He's either part of our first team plans playing regularly, or let's send him on loan for a season and have Premier League football. But I'm very, very encouraged by him, and I think that as long as he's part of this squad, which he is on the US tour, if he's the player I think he is, then I think Mourinho will have to take notice of him.
I mean, I agree with you. If he does shine on the tour, it will kind of force him into Mourinho's thinking. But it then kind of will go back to the number 7 question: who's the marquee signing that Man United have been linked with? And if someone does come in, it has an impact on the first team players, like the Mkhitaryan, Mata, and then for those individuals that can't get in, Pereira, who'll be forced further down the pecking order. So if he doesn't make his mark on the tour, I mean, I like you, I'd like for him to go out on loan. And we've seen with Lukaku when he was at Chelsea, it didn't do him any harm, and now he's turned into, well, hopefully he'll go on to do great things for us. But he's only 24. Pereira is still young, so he's got lots of time to learn in the game. It's just unfortunate that he is a player within a cluster of players that are very, very good.
Yes, he is. I'm not sure he's 24. I'm sure he's younger than that. Let me just.
He's younger, yeah, but there's still time.
Yeah, he's only just 21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
still time.
So a loan is perfect, absolutely perfect. I wouldn't be opposed to Fosu Mensah going on loan this season as well, to be honest. If they're not going to get the minutes under Mourinho at United, put him out on loan for a year. You just perfectly said that. Lukaku went to West Brom, he went to Everton for a year on loan. As long as it's Premier League, I don't want him going in the Championship. As long as it's Premier League, then I'm happy. I'm not happy. I want him to play now, but it's the second best and it's quite close. There's a good question here for you, Rodney, actually. It's from Paul Michael Bales, and he says, will Mourinho swap Marcial for Sanchez? So that's the first thing. Will Mourinho do it? And the second thing is, would you do it?
Right. First, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't swap for Sanchez. I'll go back to the fact that we're Manchester United, and if we want a player, we purchase them outright. And if a player is not part of the future or the current plans of the manager, then we sell him. If he's a young player, and I think Marcial was young, do we loan him out? I don't know if that would benefit him to be loaned out. I think he definitely has a part to play in the squad, and hopefully, if he gets his confidence back, and I think it probably was his confidence last year, he'll be a first team player. So I wouldn't swap him for Sanchez. I'd like Sanchez to join him, but I wouldn't swap him.
It's interesting. I always get Anthony Martial's age wrong. He was only 21 in December. He's only 2 months old, 2 months older than Andreas Pereira, and the things he's done in a United shirt are really exciting. I wouldn't. The
thing is, Mark, when we talk about footballers at that age, I remember at 21, I was still getting underpants and socks for Christmas presents from my mum. He's probably no different. He may be a multi-millionaire now. He's still a young man. He doesn't know enough in the world. He's still learning. So I wouldn't try and get rid of him just because he's had a bad year or a bad 6 months. He's got plenty of time to develop into a world beater. So as for swapping, no, definitely not.
We're very lucky at Manchester United. We've got Anthony Marcial 21, we've got Andreas Pereira 21, we've got Fosu Mensah, we've got Twan Seaby, we've got Rashford, and we still fall into that trap of let's go and sign Sanchez, Rodriguez, and we start going on about these players. We've got a fantastic clutch of young players all around the age of 20 who are not the complete article by a long way, but are fantastic talents. We're very, very lucky. We've got over 5,000 watching. It's amazing. I don't think we've hit 5,000 for ages. They must know it's Tuesday night and it's you, Rodney. That's what I think. But
if only.
Drop a like on the video. There's over 5,000 of you, so we should hit 1,000 tonight. It's Rodney's night, so you're liking Rodney. If you don't like me, it doesn't matter because it's Rodney's night. But
well, I'm going to click like anyway. That's for sure.
And just on the audio issue, somebody's just sent me a direct message on Twitter. Apparently, it might be something to do with the YouTube app. I don't know why I'm telling them this because they can't hear me, but it's something to do with the YouTube app. If you like mess around with the mute thing or you stop the video and start it, it'll work. But it's definitely not anything we've done tonight. I have done it in the past, but it's not me tonight. It's because nobody can hear it when I mess it up. But bring it back a little bit to the number 7 thing there. If this rumour is true that Manchester United are going to sign a marquee number 7, and I don't think it's Alexis Sanchez, who do you think? I mean, that's the thing. Rodriguez is gone now. I think a lot of people thought it might be him. Happy birthday to Danielle tomorrow, Danielle Purvis. Who do you think would is a likely? Who do you? Well, I suppose who do you see as the candidates? I mean, because I can think of 2, but I want to give you your thoughts while I try and think of a few more.
I'm thinking, we were probably thinking of the same 2. I think obviously one would be Mbappe.
No, I wasn't thinking him actually. Yeah.
You weren't thinking him?
No.
And for me, it would be probably Dembele from Dortmund.
Yeah, I was thinking him. The other one I was thinking was Bale, because we have been linked to him a lot this summer. But
it's that Real Madrid connection again, and we've been slapped around the face quite a bit.
Well, I've been proved right about that again. I mean, Morata, we were right to walk away from that deal. As much as I preferred Morata over Lukaku, I mean, I'm happy with Lukaku now. I'm really happy. But if you'd asked me before, I would have said Morata. Real Madrid treat us badly. They want De Gea. We treat them badly. Rodriguez, we had no chance, did we? So why would we ever get Bale? We wouldn't get Bale without De Gea. So I don't want Bale. That's I'd rather keep De Gea, to be honest. I don't know about you.
Well, I think I would. I mean, I think the fact that Rodriguez has gone to Bayern strengthens Bale's position at Real Madrid. He's another left-footed player that he doesn't have to contend with. Unless they bring in someone like Mbappe, then we might see a ripple effect. So I wouldn't close the door on Bale yet, but I can't see us getting anyone from Real Madrid. And I think that's down to Mourinho. I think actually with all the conversations that we've had, and when we had meltdowns about we've not been quick enough and we haven't bought anyone, no one saw the Lukaku move. In one purchase, he's basically dismissed Chelsea. He's showed them he's the boss. He's basically told Madrid, you can't tell us what to do, and I know the inner circles of how you work at Madrid, so I've given you the runaround. And everyone else in the league is now thinking, what's he going to do next? For me, it's a masterstroke in terms of Lukaku, absolute masterstroke. And it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but we've not been messed around with Real Madrid and the Morata. And I said last week, if Morata wanted to leave, he needed to put in a transfer request. And after all of this, we still have our goalkeeper.
Yeah, you did. You're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. Morata needed to do more. He needed to put a transfer request in. Funny thing is, Chelsea want him now, but apparently he only wanted to go to United, and he's saying, "I'll stay at Real Madrid, thanks."
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I'm very happy with Lukaku now. He wasn't in my top 5. I do have my concerns about him, but he's such a likeable bloke. I think now he's come to us, and he's one thing I hadn't really looked at is his goal record in the Premier League, even for people like West Brom. 17 goals in 35 games for West Brom. And it wasn't the West Brom of now, it was the pretty rubbish West Brom as well.
It was the rubbish West Brom.
Yeah, so he's done very well. And you think if he can score those, for all his faults, if he can score those goals for West Brom and Everton, he should get a hatful at United. And I'm very excited. It's one of the reasons I love Mourinho. He gets things wrong, but he also does things that people probably wouldn't do that he gets very, very right. And I think Lukaku could be one of those. Bringing it back to the number 7 though. So Bale, Mbappe or Dembele. I don't think we'll go for Dembele because I think he's too young. I don't think Mourinho will go that young. Mbappe is interesting because I will never forget that Marcial said twice in April that Mourinho was obsessed with him and really wanted him. I know Real Madrid want him, but Manchester United have just got... If this player, Mbappe, really is what everyone thinks he is, and I think he is, and he can be one of the best players in the world in world football in the next couple of years, I could see United just going, there's 120 million and doing it. But is he more of a forward? And then you've already got Lukaku and Rashford and Marcial. I see a number 7 for me. I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm as intrigued as to you as to what we might do.
I mean, imagine if we did have him and we had Marcial, Rashford, Lukaku. They're all young enough and intelligent enough to be able to work out partnerships, routines, movement. Kind of throwing it back to when we had Cole, York, Sheringham, and Solskjaer, 4 strikers who knew where the goals were, knew where to find goals. In pressure games, and not just so much in pressure games that teams would turn up and knew that they were going to get buried 5 or 6. They'd literally leave Old Trafford thinking we've been battered today, physically and in terms of football. It would be a dream to have Mbappe play at Manchester United with a forward line. When you think of it, with Martial, Rashford and Lukaku, that would scare any back four. It literally terrified them. They'd be thinking that we've got no idea what formation's turning up today. We've got to be on our guard. But as to whether that would happen, we can only cross our fingers and wait and see. Yes.
K Finesse Marketing says Chelsea wouldn't sell, but we know Mourinho wants Willian at United. Outside chance? Question mark. Thanks for the contribution, K Finesse Marketing. I don't think we'll get anything from Chelsea now. In fact, I'm very encouraged that we've annoyed Chelsea, because it probably means we won't get Matic now. In fact, I heard that Inter Milan want Matic, so I'm very happy for us now to spend 80 million on Perisic if it gives them the money to buy Matic. So it's a double-edged sword there. I don't care how much we spend on him now.
I'd actually drop the price for Perisic. If they're desperate to get Matic, I'd say you're only getting 30. Take it or leave it. Yeah. If they're desperate to get Matic, I'd rub Chelsea's noses twice over.
Apparently Chelsea are in for Aubameyang now. I do like Aubameyang. I would have put him way ahead of Lukaku, I've got to be honest. But I don't know whether he'd suit Chelsea, because Chelsea, when you think about Costa, he's very rough and ready. Aubameyang's not really that sort of striker, but he's a good player. He could work out really well. There's another super chat here before I go back to Rodney. It's from Chrissy Tommelty. He says, we need a number 7, not another Depay. We need a big signing for that shirt, and Sanchez would be it. It is interesting. It is interesting because...
Does anyone know where Sanchez is right now?
I think he's on holiday, isn't he? Because he was...
It's not in the States by any chance, is it?
I don't know. But answers on a postcard. Alexi, if you're watching...
Anyone seen Alexis Sanchez?
I know, because he was part of that Confederation Cup, wasn't he? That he's obviously having his break, but he'll be back soon. I don't know. Maybe we would just sign Perisic and a centre defensive midfielder, of which is an interesting point in itself. Lots of people watching tonight. I don't know whether everybody is part of the United stand, because it's hard to keep track in the summer as to, whether it's everyone's just decided to watch because it's Rodney, or whether we've got a load of new people. But if you are new to the United stand, we're live every night at 8:30. Transfer show at 7 a.m. every morning. Bottom right hand corner is the hologram. Just click it, subscribe, and join the community. As you can see, the live comments are going alongside me. Got Rodney with me, just talking about Manchester United passionately, made for the fans, by the fans. That's what we're all about, and interacting with you. We tried Skype Goldbridge last night. It failed, but it will be back. Don't worry. What was I going to say? Yeah, centre defensive midfielder. Ishmatic 007 has just said Fabinho, Perisic, and Dembele will be the next signings. I'd be very, very happy with that. But centre defensive midfielder. Last night it was Atletico Madrid had done a deal for Fabinho. Then they hadn't, which is why I did the video this morning. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, hopefully Matic is going to Inter. We need a centre defensive midfielder, sure. I mean, I'm starting to wonder, will we need? I think we need 2 midfielders. When you think Fellaini, Pogba, Herrera, and a declining Carrick, and everyone says Fosu Mensah, but he's always in the right back position for me.
Yeah, I mean, Fosu Mensah, would he get the game time in midfield as a holding midfielder? And I think that's something. If you see him playing that formation during the tour, possibly. But I don't think... to play centre midfield, you need to have played there for a good couple of years to get your positional sense right, knowing when to step out and attack a ball, whether to drop off, where to kind of not necessarily get in the way of your centre-backs, to make sure that you don't get pulled out of the centre and you keep going to the wing. So and you leave gaps in the middle. So I mean, for him to play that role, he would really need to increase in terms of his playing ability on that side, in terms of his awareness. But I don't think, as an athlete and a footballer, he couldn't do it. I just think it's you really need to be on your mettle all the time in that position. Someone, just going back, Mark, I was just looking at the comments. One of the comments said about number 7, and it was Dybala as a number 7.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's more of the player that we need. I mean, we're talking about wingers and we're talking about strikers. I think what we need is what Rooney wasn't anymore. You know, sort of that. And going back to the lad who said at the start, Mkhitaryan as a number 10. I think that's what United need. Is that player, sort of the link-up player between. It's basically what we know who it was going to be. It was going to be Griezmann, and I think that's what we need. That player who plays behind the striker, who can go out to the wide. We've got to be very flexible in the way we play this season. There's going to be games where we play a midfield 3 and Pogba's the more attacking player with just Lukaku up front. But at home, I think you need to play Pogba, Herrera, a CDM, and you need to get a number 10 in there as well. I don't know whether we'd get Dybala, by the way, but I think that's the position we need.
Yeah, that is that. I mean, I think looking at the name, looking at his name, and looking at the way he performed in the Champions League final and the run up to the final, I would definitely say he would fit the number 7 role in terms of movement, ability on the ball, close control, and an eye for a pass, which is what you need to have when you're playing in that role, the kind of withdrawn attacking midfielder role as well.
Mike D's made a contribution. He says Griezmann number 7 next summer, otherwise Dembele now. And K5S Marketing again says Fosu Mensah is 19. There are no 19-year-old CDMs in the Premier League for a reason. I would have loaned him out last year. I think it was a wasted season for him last year because he played so well in that season before for Van Halen. I don't know why he didn't get him some proper game time. I thought somebody said something about breaking news. I did see somebody, unfortunately for them, I'm not going to shout them out, who said, Mark, Love Island starts in 5 minutes. Can you hurry it on? I mean, Love Island. You're a good job. Your name's whizzed by because I would actually shout you out. Jason Bowditch, I think that's Jason who does our website actually. He says, breaking news, Douglas Costa has joined Juventus. That's been rumbling on for a while, but he's a player I would have liked, Rodney. He was a good wide man, to be fair.
Mark, can I say something with that? Think of the dynamic in terms of Rodriguez goes to Bayern to take over Douglas Costa, who roughly is around about the same age. Costa probably quicker in terms of speed across the ground, but is there much difference between them in terms of their ability on the ball and trying to find a pass when it's very difficult to break down defences? He would definitely be good for us. But then he's going to Juventus.
I would have took Costa because he's more of a wide man, isn't he? He's more of a wide man.
I think he started out wide, and I think over time he's moved infield, and he played a lot of his time in the middle of the park for Bayern, particularly at the beginning of last season when Ribéry and Robin was injured. But I don't understand why he's not there as an established player, that he's going to go to Juve. Not to say that the Italian league isn't any good, it is, but
it's getting a lot better now. There's a lot of serious money being spent in Milan.
Yeah, there is, but for us, we're still a marquee. It's not that we're not a marquee club. He's a player that we've been linked to for many, many years. He's not new to us, and I'm sure if we were interested, we would have actually made a serious and a concerted effort to kind of bring him to the club, but obviously that hasn't been the case.
Ex Arichi says we're going to sign Matuidi 100%. You're not the first one to say that tonight. Thomas Benjamin says Thiago Mau should be CDM, new Redondo and good price. Well, I loved Redondo. He was a fantastic midfielder. Some people still on about Nainggolan. We were just saying there, I think the centre defensive midfield position is a real question mark. But we need to get some. I personally would like to see us sign 2. A lot of people mentioning Renato Sanches again. Blaise Matuidi again. Dembele is as good as Griezmann, if not better, says Martin Jackson. Well, the thing is, people who want to wait for Griezmann next year, it's He's 27, I think, next year. So he's a year older again. And Alexis Sanchez is 29 in December, just for people who want to know that. No, I'm not ageist anyway, because, you know, we signed Robin Van Persie at 29. So there's not a problem with that, but there you go.
Oh, we got the title out of him, so we can't complain with that. But Renato Sanches, another player who, you know, has years on his side, possibly, well, linked to other moves, linked to us, but maybe staying at Bayern. He would be ideal for us, but I don't know whether or not we can prize him away from Bayern Munich, or whether we've made an effort to do so. The centre midfield role position is the one, I think, the one that's going to be the most difficult to fill, and which is why we're linked with Fabinho so frequently, because he would be ideal. And when I think the figure that I saw about Dyer from Spurs, is it 60 million? I was thinking, well, if he's 60 million, then we've got Lukaku at a steal for 75. Really, if we're talking about value for money, because I don't understand why he's 60 million.
No, I think it's just trying to buy players that clubs don't want to sell, isn't it? But ridiculous amount of money. We've lost 300 viewers in the last couple of minutes, so we've lost 300 Love Island fans. Blimey heck! I'll tell you what, you should be ashamed of yourselves. But Rog V. Renart says, Gary Neville says Manchester United need a holding midfielder like Nemanja Matic. Yeah, well, Gary Neville said we should keep David Moyes. He doesn't get it right all the time.
Yeah, he did.
So,
he probably still got him on speed dial as well.
He probably... Look, my point is, just because a United great legend or whatever has an opinion doesn't mean we all have to jump on it and say it's fantastic. I mean, I get it wrong. Rodney gets it wrong. You get it wrong.
Yeah, I get it wrong.
Gary Neville certainly gets it wrong. And he's wrong about Matic. We don't need a midfielder like Matic. He's not quick enough. I'm not saying Matic wouldn't do a good job, but for me, that position needs to have a bit of pace in it, not another slow Fellaini type. Cam Jones says Jorginho, who is at Napoli, mid-20s. Very, very good. Very, very Carrick-esque, actually. He would be a good signing as a centre defensive midfielder. Fabinho is quality, Matic is crap. All Fortune's back. He was here last night. William Carvalho, I knew he'd get mentioned. Thanks for that, Yusri. X.
Not with that 1970s moustache. No way.
Mohammed Tamiz Abdul Sattar says, thoughts on Neymar? Can we get him? I don't think we can, but that is probably the sort of marquee signing that you'd go, he's not really a position player, is he? But you'd find a superstar. We've got Pogba. I think Manchester United should always have more than one superstar. And I look at the squad now, and we've only really got one. I think in 3 or 4 years' time, some of the young lads will be superstars. But that talks a bit... I've got to talk about Rashford. Pro Rips just reminded me. Yeah, the big development around Marcus Rashford is, if you've seen United training the last couple of nights, Mourinho's obviously sent him away and told him to eat some spinach, because Lukaku's a big lad. Rashford is a young lad, and I think people forget he's got to bulk out yet. If Rashford bulks out, you've probably got Lukaku Mark II. Fast, skillful, going to cause defenders all sorts of problems. He's certainly bulked up in the last 2 months, Rodney, and that is very, very helpful.
I saw a small image earlier on Twitter, and I thought he's definitely been in the gym, and definitely been focused on his training. I know there's a lot of talk about Wayne Rooney getting fit, but I think Rashford has listened to the words that Mourinho has said in terms of his fitness, what he needs to do to make sure that he's not brushed off the ball when he gets it up to him. And for me, when a player does that off season, it shows that they're really, really focused on the season ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. Unfortunately, his best mate Lingard, he did go to the gym with him, but then Marcus couldn't get him in the gym. He just spent his whole time dancing in the changing rooms, learning new moves, because he's desperate to get Pogba back as his best mate. He's worried about Lukaku, but I think it's a genetic.
It's over.
It's a genetic thing with Lingard. We can take. He gets a lot of stick because he's pretty much an average squad player, but he must be mid-20s now, and that's genetics. I don't think he could bulk out if he tried to. I think he could have a fried breakfast 10 times a day, and he'd still be a little skinny boy. It's a shame, really, because
with that, I think it's about a player's desire as well. I mean, Lingard, it's not as if he's not been around players who haven't actually gone and kind of improved on their physique and their fitness. I'm sure he could have if he wanted to. Welbeck did. Welbeck, when he first came on, he was, a gangly individual, but he's a beast of an individual now. he went and bulked up. So I think Lingard is down to personal choice. Genetics may play a part, but I think he's in his mind. I think he's very happy with how he is, but not necessarily strong enough.
It is funny because I remember Sir Alex Ferguson saying about Lingard that when he fills out, he'll be a much better player. It's clearly not going to happen because he's, I think some people still do think he's young. He's not. He's mid-20s, and he really, I mean, whether it's personal choice or it's genetics, I suppose in the modern day, in modern sports science, you can defy genetics anyway. There's all sorts of proteins and things you can do to bulk yourself up. I wonder why he hasn't done it, because he gets knocked off the ball so much, and he's he might lose a little bit of pace, but he's not. His pace isn't a major asset anyway. I think if he, he's the sort of player that with a bit of weight on him would actually help his attributes, because he's not a bad shooter. His passing's okay. He's quite a good dribbler. So, if I was him, I'd think, I'm willing to lose half a yard of pace to have another stone of muscle on, that when I'm dribbling, I can hold people off. I'm very surprised that he's never done that.
Yeah, I mean, I am as well, so yeah.
Jing Ayaya has made a contribution. He says, off topic, however, why has no one mentioned Weigl? I always get his name wrong. Wants to leave Dortmund, won't be overpriced, and perfect replacement for Carrick. That's from Samir. And we've also had Dan Miola saying, Leon Goretzka is not what United need in the midfield. Only Schalke player that fits is Johannes Gies, closest thing to De Rossi in the modern game. Yes, I like those. Both of those comments are very good, because they are midfield. Well, we've heard a lot about Weigl, to be honest. I'm probably announcing his name wrong. Quite close to sort of Carrick in style at Dortmund, and then you've got Johannes Gies at Schalke. I've probably got his name wrong as well. De Rossi, Nainggolan is the closest thing to Roy Keane in world football as far as I'm concerned. So you've got three good choices there, and I think a De Rossi prototype, a Carrick prototype, or a Keane prototype, I'd take any of those.
Yeah, I mean, the names that suggested are all good players. It's, again, whether or not we can put forward a deal that's suitable for them, but also whether we're actually in for them. Because we've got no idea what players Mourinho is after, and even though the list was meant to have been given to Woodward, we've got 2 acquisitions in, and we're still thinking we need another 3, and that's just in terms of centre mid and striker. We haven't even really talked about left back position. We're probably going to leave that until the 30th of August and start scratching our head thinking we need someone else, just in case Luke Shaw isn't fit.
Yes, yeah. It's funny. I got a little bit of stick for it actually on Twitter today, because I said, I know it's only day 3 of the US tour, but it already feels like we're on tour and we're not signing players. And my experience of every single tour over the last 10 years is that we don't sign players when we're on tour. It's all about the tour, and that, I think it has to change this year, but it doesn't feel any different to any other tour where we go on tour. It's all about United training, like you can watch on MUTV. Then the games are going to kick in. Then we're going to have press conferences and transfer talk. Whilst we'll continue, I don't feel like we're close to any deals at the moment. I think maybe we can get Perisic done this week, but as I said, the centre defensive midfielder, God knows who that's going to be. I don't know. Maybe I've got it wrong, Rodney. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, the Perisic deal, definitely, if that could happen, that would be nice. It would be nice to actually get a player that we've been linked to for some time and not have to spend too much money. Again, with the centre midfield position, I know that there was a rumour about Bakayoko, us being linked to him again, and we, struck up a secret deal to, hijack Chelsea's deal. I mean, no one really knows. And if that does happen, it will say that, again, Mourinho has played a masterstroke. But I'm like you, some of the performances that Bakayoko had towards the end of the season, I wasn't really impressed with. I kept looking at him thinking he's kind of cumbersome, touch was poor, and he kept giving the ball away. And I was just thinking, I'm not sure if that's what we need, but, we'll wait and see.
Cam Jones says, what do you think of Nzonzi? If you've been watching the United stand for about 3 or 4 months, I've been mentioning Nzonzi. I did a transfer show, I think at the start of May, saying there's a left field signing, because we're thinking, will we sign someone like Eric Bailly, who no one even knows about, and they just go bang? I don't think we will, because those sort of signings tend to happen quite early. But Nzonzi's a much improved player from Stoke. I'd heard he was going to Italy. I don't think we're in for him, but he's about 6'4". He's good on the ball, and he's tenacious as well. So I don't know why Mourinho wouldn't be in for him, because he's tall. He's like a tall Kante, really.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going up to watch Man United a couple of times and watch Stoke and Nzonzi play, and I kept scratching my head thinking how he looked like he was Messi at sometimes going through our midfield, and I couldn't quite work out why our midfield couldn't close him down. He's a lot more skillful than people give him credit for, and he's not afraid to put his foot in. I'm not sure. I think he's probably 28 now.
Yes, he is. He's about 28. Which would be perfect.
I mean, he's been around. He's been around the block, and playing for Stoke may not necessarily be the Bernabeu in terms of platforms, but playing for Stoke means that he can put his foot in, and he knows what it means to keep a clean sheet and to track back. So in terms of the defensive duties of a player, he would understand an instruction from the manager and probably follow it to the T. But whether he'd be with us, that would be, I don't know. Who knows?
Dan Miola's made a contribution, and he's given us what would be his Manchester United 11. So we'll have a look at this, Rodney. He says De Gea, Valencia, Lindelof, Bay, Shaw, Herrera, Pogba, Marcial, Rashford, Mkhitaryan, Lukaku. Trying to figure out what he's doing there. So he's got Herrera, Pogba, Marcial and Rashford as wingers.
No matter,
Mkhitaryan, Lukaku. Potential 11 average age is 24 and a half, but Jose doesn't play youth. Yeah, I think he's making a point there of good players that brings our average age down to 24 and a half, which is a good point. I don't think he's actually saying we should play Marcial, Rashford, Mkhitaryan and Lukaku and have a midfield two of Herrera and Pogba. But they're all key players. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And then,
it's a good squad, but yeah, it needs a bit of strength in the middle.
And Andy Green says, can you read my question out, please? Would you like Christian Eriksen or Gabriel Jesus? Well, we won't get either, but for me, I would go Christian Eriksen over Gabriel Jesus. But
yeah, definitely.
I don't want anyone from City, if I'm totally honest. And let's have a look. What else? We've got a Chelsea fan on there.
Whoa. It must be bored.
How ironic. He says, listen to me. If you look on my left, on my right, you can see it there, the Chelsea fan saying, listen to me. It's very, very suitable for Chelsea and Conte at the moment. They're trying to sell players and they're just walking by. Please, Lukaku. Please sign for me, Lukaku. Please, listen to me. Very, very apt. When's the giveaway of the United shirt? We did one on Facebook on Monday. We will do one on the United stand. If I'd known so many people were in the Rodney fan club and we were going to get so many people watching tonight, I would have given the shirts away tonight. So maybe we'll do one next Tuesday, one at the weekend, because we've got 3 to give away. Red Skunk said, what was that question, Jesus or Eriksen? It's like asking, would you like Pele or Lee Trundle? I don't know. The Bants is real. And I just want to ask you about this, Rodney, as well. Kunal Sharma said it, but a lot of people have said it. Zlatan will sign new Manchester United deal when he returns from injury. And he's put confirmed. I don't think it is confirmed, but I have heard it a bit today. Zlatan back? I don't know. I like Zlatan, but
I think Zlatan likes Manchester United. That's the thing. It isn't so much about. I think it isn't about money for him. He could go to the MLS right now and do his recuperation there and sign one of those MLS clubs, and they'll, fanfare, pay him whatever money they want. I think he's bought into Manchester United and he wants to be around, even if it is a bit part player. So if he has signed and he's aiming to come back in January or later, I think that would be ideal for him, and I wouldn't think any Manchester United fan would have a problem with that.
I wouldn't now, because we've got Lukaku, who is a better Zlatan, because he's got the pace that Zlatan didn't. So coming in as a bit part player, I'm more than happy to have him back. What I wouldn't have liked is we didn't sign anybody. We rely on Rashford, then Zlatan comes in and plays every week. So yeah.
I mean, I would like Zlatan to be around. In terms of because I'm sure he has enough about him in terms of coaching confidence, let alone footballing ability, to young strikers. And if there are 2 strikers in our team that need that, I would say Rashford, but more so Marcial. There's an ego that Zlatan has as a striker that strikers need to have all the time. And I think Marcial last season There were times when he had great games and he had one bad ball in the game and his head dropped. And I think he needs to realise that you can give one bad pass, but you have to keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah. And I think Zlatan would be good for him as because he may not get the arm around the shoulder from Mourinho, but he may from a fellow striker.
I'd agree. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Loads and loads of people have dropped a like on the video. Not all of the 5,000 who were watching, but 1,373 have. So Rodney's got a new record on his show. We'll see how it goes. If you are new to the United Stand tonight, remember the bottom right hand corner is the subscribe button, the hologram. Click and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell, because we do a lot of live content, and then you'll get the notification when we go live. Because for the last few nights on a weeknight, even last night, I went live at 11 o'clock about, forget what, it was the Collymore thing, wasn't it? So we don't intend to go live later on, but there is a lot of news that's coming out around 10:30 in the week at the moment. So we are doing a little video a bit later on a lot of the time. So make sure you subscribe and you've got that bell on, because if I do go live at 10:30 or 11, you're going to know we're live. But thanks for coming on, Rodney. Rodney
Cheers,
comes on a Tuesday, and obviously you've got a big fan club, because we don't normally get 5,000 watching. I hope they're all here tomorrow night for me, but I doubt it, but we'll see.
Well, I will.
There you go. Rodney's watching, so if you're in the Rodney fan club, you should watch anyway. I'm sure we're going to get Rodney on more, but you know, he's got a life as well, so it's all about how we can fit it in. But for the moment, it's Tuesdays. We've got the matches. US. Will you be watching the games, Rodney? Some of them are early in the morning and work the next day. It's tough, isn't it?
I hope to be watching them, definitely. I mean, work permitting, I'll be able to go to work with sunglasses on, so they don't think that I'm the Walking Dead. But yeah, that I am definitely aiming to watch the games and definitely play a part in the watch-alongs in terms of comments, for sure.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to come on if you want, but I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Sunday early hours is fine because it's the weekend. It's the next Monday one, 3 o'clock in the morning against Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
The wife said to me, "Oh, it's only Real Salt Lake. Don't watch it." I went, No, you don't get it. It's Manchester United. I've got to watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not like you've got work the next day. I said, but I've got the perfect excuse. I've got a 3-week-old baby, so I can just say, I've been kept up by him. So, but yeah, definitely be up for that.
I don't have that excuse at all, not one bit.
Well, thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed it. It's flew by as per usual.
Yeah,
really good show. And thanks to everyone in the comments, because the great thing is when I've got a guest is I can spend more time reading the comments, and although I don't get to read them out, I read them, and the live comments is a great time. Great. I used to do shows. I used to not do shows sometimes, and I'd go on the live comments and let somebody else do it. So maybe we can get that back one day. But might be back at 10:30, 11. I don't know. Depends what comes out in the raft of news that comes out between 10 and 11. But if it's something worth reacting to, I will. But thanks everyone for watching. United Stand. It just never fails to amaze me how many people get involved in this. Just keep spreading the word and getting involved. And Zishan wants a song. That's only for Transfer Daily. You only get a bit of songing on that. I'm not going to sing every week, every show either. But thanks everyone. Thanks to Rodney. Rodney, you're on Twitter as well. Mark. Tell them what your Twitter feed is.
Yeah, it's at Rodney Cyrus. So simple.
Rodney Cyrus with a C.
With a C, yeah.
Ollie Football says, how can I buy United Stand shirts? I'll drop the links. I keep forgetting to put them in. We're on Amazon.
I actually prefer the white one, Mark, with the collars.
Oh, the polos?
Yeah, I like that one. I might get one of those. Extra large.
Don't. You'll blow the illusion, at least with your voice. You know, everyone's just...
I'm jesting.
Everyone's imagining. Thanks, everybody. I'll speak to you all maybe later, if not 7 a.m. But thanks to Rodney, and thanks to everyone in the live comments. I'll speak to you all soon.
All right.
I just have to...